Hello and welcome to English Stories with Louisa.
My landlord threw me in jail after I had his apartment condemned. Have you ever had a landlord who was more like a villain than a person? The kind of guy who sees you as a walking ATM, a source of money to be squeezed until you break? For 3 years, I endured a landlord who seemed to live to torment me. But he made one crucial mistake. He pushed a good tenant too far, and on my way out, I gave him a little surprise that would cost him a lot more than my rent. If you ever had a terrible landlord or an abusive boss, and you just want to see them get what they deserve, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for a story about sweet, sweet justice. My story begins 3 years ago when I moved into an apartment that seemed fine on the surface. The rent was decent, the location was good, and I was excited to have my own space. Little did I know, I was about to become a hostage to one of the most terrible human beings I've ever met. Let's call him the landlord from hell. From the beginning, he was a nightmare. He didn't see me as a tenant. He saw me as a piggy bank to be shaken. He would steal my belongings from common areas, my dryer, some old chairs, as if they were his to take. When the plumbing needed repair, which was clearly a matter of normal wear and tear, he forced me to pay for it, holding my rent hostage until I did. He even tried to break into my house once when I wasn't home. But I was a good tenant. I was always on time with rent for 3 years. The one exception? The month he made me pay for that plumbing repair. It was a small act of protest, and he hated it. He sent a vicious letter demanding a parking spot fee, an extra $150 a month, a clear act of retaliation for me standing up to him. I had to get a lawyer just to make him back down. The apartment itself was a monument to his greed. The ceiling paint was constantly peeling, falling like dust on the floor. My porch, which had been there for years, was a death trap. It had serious safety issues, and he did nothing about it. The gas heater was a fire hazard, not up to code, and the plumbing was entirely illegal. I was living in a crumbling, dangerous building while paying my rent on time, and being constantly harassed by a man who seemed to have a personal vendetta against me. I felt like I was being suffocated. The stress was a constant, low hum in the background of my life. My stomach was always in knots. Every time I saw a letter from him in the mailbox, my heart would start to race. I was trapped, powerless, and completely at his mercy. He was a master manipulator. He would try to intimidate me with threats and scare tactics, always with the goal of getting more money out of me. The final straw came when he tried to raise my rent by $500 a month. That's when I knew I was done. There was no negotiating, no reasoning with this man. It was time to get out, and on my way out, I was going to leave him a little parting gift. My moving day was set. A week before I was scheduled to leave, he started his final campaign of terror. He demanded I be out by a specific time, threatening to call the police on me if I wasn't. I didn't respond. I didn't engage. My blood was boiling, but a strange sense of calm had taken over. I knew what I had to do. For days before I moved out, I made the phone call I had been dreaming of for years. I called the building inspector. I poured my heart out to the man on the other end of the line, telling him everything. The illegal plumbing, the dangerous porch, the non-code gas heater, the peeling paint. I told him about the new porch he had just built that didn't have a permit and was a death trap. I went on, a torrent of 3 years of frustration and rage pouring out of me. The inspector listened patiently. He told me he would be there the very next day. I watched from my window as he showed up, clipboard in hand, taking measurements and photos. Each violation was a $500 a day fine until fixed. My heart pounded in my chest. This was it. This was my chance to hit him where it hurt the most. His wallet. On the day I was supposed to move, he came by just as he said he would. He started his harassment, threatening me with the police. But I was one step ahead of him. I had already gone to the police station that morning to warn them. So when I called him to report his harassment, they informed him that I was in the right. He was furious. I left to go to the storage unit. And when I came back, the door was nailed shut. He had broken into my apartment. The audacity was staggering. The physical manifestation of his hatred for me. All the frustrations of the past 3 years came to a head in that single moment. I called the police again, And this time I demanded a supervisor. I was done with being a victim. I was done with his harassment. He was trying to push me my breaking point, but he was about to discover I had already passed it. I told the police supervisor everything, and just as I was giving my statement, he saw the supervisor approaching and fled. He knew he was about to get arrested on sight. The police report came back the next day. They were charging him with a felony for breaking and entering. In the end, he didn't get my money. He got something far worse. He got a visit from the building inspector, a pile of fines, and a felony charge on his record. His greed and his arrogance cost him more than he could ever have imagined. He tried to ruin my life, and in the end, he ruined his own. I walked away from that apartment with a sense of triumph and validation that I had never felt before. I had stood up for myself, and I had won. It's a powerful lesson. You can be a good person, a good tenant, a good employee, and still be taken advantage of by terrible people. But it's important to remember that you have rights, you have a voice, and sometimes you can be the one to serve justice. If this story gave you a little burst of satisfaction, smash that like button and tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? And of course, subscribe for more stories just like this.